Hello, my chicklets. Thank you for stopping by. I do very much appreciate every comment that you guys have given and every like. I don't get to see who gives the likes, but I definitely check out all of the comments when they're there. Today, I have a story for you called Holding On. This one is a little bit sad and the ending isn't necessarily happy. So if that's not your vibe, I would suggest skipping this one for now. Without further ado, let me read Holding On. Sometimes you tell yourself you have a choice, or had in this case, but you really didn't have a choice, Roman. Picani was leaning forward on his plush chair, his notebook in his lap. He was the epitome of relaxed but attentive, the epitome of calm. The room smelt like vanilla like it always did, but today it wasn't comforting. Today the vanilla was choking, too sweet for the state of mind Roman was in. Just because there are alternatives doesn't mean they apply to you. You were a kid, and yes, I strongly believe that 14 is still very much a child. You didn't have the means or capability to enact some of these alternatives you told me about. And what's more, even the ones you technically could have done would have left you in a very bad position, probably emotionally, financially, and security-wise. You did what you had to do, and it's okay. Roman wasn't looking at Picani. How could he? The doctor was far too nice to him, giving him excuses for not saving his brother. Roman had been battling with this for years now, going through every scenario when he couldn't sleep at night, and he knew in the deepest part of his heart that he had failed. But I just let him leave. He was alone, and I didn't stand up for him. Trying to get him to stay would have hurt him more. You told me yourself that the two of you were in a bad situation at the time, and going with him would have put you in a bad situation. You did the best you could for the age you were at. But now he won't speak to me. Roman lamented the loss of his brother. When they were both 14, their parents had kicked Remus out. He was apparently too much to handle, and the police in their small town were completely wrapped around the mayor and his husband's fingers. That's his right. I know it's hard to hear, but even if you did the best you could, Remus was still hurt. What he went through had to be horrible, and he is still healing from that. You can't force a relationship, but you can be there if and when he's ready. Picani said with a soft, sad smile. He has to be ready to reach out to you. Sometimes when bad things are happening, they can't be fixed. Sometimes you just have to wait out for everything to be okay. Roman didn't like that answer. He didn't like the idea that he wouldn't be able to make up with his brother, that the two of them would be separated forever because of something their parents did and, in his mind, something he failed to do. The typically proud man was curled up tightly in a ball, fighting back his urge to run out and find Remus, to shake him until he accepted their brotherly bond again. Dr. Picani held out a box of tissues to him, and Roman took it carefully, still feeling like he shouldn't even be crying over something that was his fault. How about this? Why don't you start writing Remus letters? Maybe even ask him if you could send them to him. You shouldn't expect anything from him, especially not at this stage in your relationship. But maybe it will help. It would give you an outlet to get all of your anxieties regarding the situation down on paper. Now that you've found him again, letters might be a good start. Roman blew his nose, nodding. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. It was something small he could start on, something that would help him move forward a little bit when it came to getting Remus back. Even if he couldn't fully get his brother back, this was at least a start. Thank you, Dr. Picani. Of course. We are almost at the end of our session today. I think we're making a lot of headway, and I want to talk more about some of these things later. But for now, I think it's a good idea that you do some self-care tonight. Do something nice that reminds you that you are worthy of care and affection. You aren't your perceived mistakes, Roman, even when it's difficult to see that. And remember, not all options are ones that you have access to. Just because you think you could pilot the Black Lion doesn't mean the Black Lion will accept you. And that's okay. Picani gave him a smile, and Roman attempted to smile back as he stood. I will think about it, and try to remember that. He saw the slight dip in Picani's smile, but it disappeared almost instantly, and Dr. Picani just nodded. Great, another person he had disappointed. That's all I can ask. Have a great day, Roman, and I'll talk to you next week. He saw the way Dr. Picani began to scribble down some notes, and saw the way his mind was already moving and turning. Roman wasn't sure if he felt better having someone so actively care, or worse, having someone dissect him like that. Instead of dwelling on it, he nodded silently, pulling open the door and slowly closing it behind him. Therapy wasn't always rough for him, but some days were worse than others, and today had been extremely hard. This whole week had been hard. After worrying for such a long time that his brother was dead, Roman had finally found Remus again, but Remus wanted nothing to do with him, and Roman didn't know how to handle that. His breath was shaky as he walked to the car, sitting down and letting the tears fall. He hadn't even fully processed the idea that Remus was still alive, and it seemed like his brother wanted nothing to do with him. Maybe it was better to think of Remus as still being dead. Maybe it was better to leave his brother behind again. Scrambling for his notebook, Roman rested it gently on the steering wheel as he began to write. Dr. Picani had said to write, so that's what he was going to do. He probably wouldn't send this one to Remus, though. Dear Remus, I'm sorry that I couldn't have been a better brother back then. I have regretted it every single day. Thank you all for listening. Again, this story was Holding On. Like I said, it's not quite a happy ending. I do hope that in the AU, it does eventually have a happy ending, but this is not one I plan on continue writing, so feel free to imagine whatever you want. Thank you all again for stopping by, and I hope you have a wonderful day.